I just finished filming this video, and at the very end, I had an epiphany. And it's incredibly important that you hear that at the end. It is incredibly important because it's a new idea that just came to me, and it's going to be explored because it does tie into everything that's happening. And that's what happens in my videos is I talk, but I'm also thinking and realizing and coming to new conclusions about shit hitting the fan. So watch the whole video and share this video with everyone you know. It is that important to understand where we're at now and where we're going. Thanks again for watching. Hey, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel for today's exciting wrap-up video. Oh no, you caught me. I'm wearing my ultra nerdy glasses. Check those babies out, huh? All right, you know that I don't like to just think like everyone else. I want to examine the whole picture and look and talk about all the things that are going to cause and are causing shit to hit the fan and how that's going to affect us. How do we adjust to what's going on? How do we think about what's going on? How will it come to our neighborhood? Right, today we've got to worry about our jobs, our kids, house payments, mowing the lawn, getting some food. Those are the things we worry about today. But coming down the street, in a manner of speaking, is a bunch of new trash. But we're starting to see who pushes this trash, who's standing behind the trash and encouraging it. So I've got a great article on the Daily Coin. Check out the link below. In Italy, they have their prime minister. The Italian prime minister is Matteo Salvini. And he goes after Richard Gere. That's right, actor Richard Gere, no hamster or gerbil jokes allowed. Quote, "Why don't you take Italy's migrants to Hollywood on your jet?" Now see, the note is, right, "Thank you for calling out this hypocrite, Richard Gere, before the world. Politicians like Trump, like Salvini, are starting to point and go after people. This is a big change when presidents, prime ministers used to ignore the public and not address them as a sign of the times, right? Because leftist actors, celebrities, billionaires are now entering the world of politics and making recommendations and telling people what to do on a world stage. And it's incredible. The most ignorant among us, who are great actors, get to stand up and act like they know what they're talking about and act like they know what's best. Right? Now, politicians are no great, brilliant masterpieces of mental, intelligence, but these actors are not even in their league. It's incredible, though. We have people like Richard Gere, right? We have non-government organizations like the ones funded by George Soros interfering with what is going on internationally and actually pushing for more things that are going to cause shit to hit the fan worse. That isn't right. Stuff coming down your street. Gere appeared at a press conference for a non-government organization called Open Arms on the Italian island of Lampedusa, right? And he implored Italy to allow this ship to dock. And this ship, right, is one that is owned and run by Oscar Camps. Well, he's the founder of Open Arms. And what they're doing is they're bringing migrants from Africa over to Europe without permission or authority, right? Now, as the generous, this is the quote from Salvini, "As the generous millionaire airs his demands about the fate of the Open Arms illegal immigrants, we thank him. He will be able to bring everyone in his private jet to Hollywood and keep them in his villas," right? Quote, "Surely he is impressed by the decisions that have been taken to bolster police and counter smugglers and criminals. Italy has been waiting for those measures for years," right? In other words, Salvini is chiding and also grateful for bringing more attention to the fact that these are illegals, right? Salvini has made a flagship policy of refusing to allow migrant vessels coming mostly from nearby North Africa to enter Italian waters. Now, the first steps of a months-long electoral campaign, Salvini is likely to double down on the anti-immigrant rhetoric that's made him Italy's most popular politician for now. That's right. Italy has had it up to here with this non-government organization funding the illegal immigration into their countries. Now, here in the United States, we have the same thing going on. So the person who's the American version of Salvini is President Donald Trump. And he is being called a racist, even though he is incredibly popular. He's being called a Nazi, a fascist, right? Every dirty name, including four-letter dirty names, are being just thrown at him. This is what they have. They have billionaires who want to bring down our country, working in concert with political operatives and celebrities to try and give them credibility. Oh, using Richard Gere. I mean, he's such a nice guy. He's so generous with other people's money, right? Well, Salvini throws it back in his face and says, well, we'll take him to your house. Take him to Hollywood. You take him then, if it's such a good deal, right? But this is pitting, once again, it's pitting groups against each other. It's divisive, not on the part of Salvini, but on the part of Richard Gere, to put more pressure on a system that is already rejecting the notion of open borders immigration. Right? The 69-year-old Richard Gere, no gerbil jokes allowed, was filmed aboard the Open Arms vessel on Friday, giving migrants snacks and water. Photo op! Before making a short speech. Quote, the most important thing, this is Richard Gere, by the way, is to be able to get to a free port, to be able to get off the boats and get on the land and start a new life, and be taken care of. It's everyone else's responsibility to take care of these people. Right? Well, Richard Gere is showing himself on someone else's boat that he didn't pay for and that he didn't fund, handing food that he didn't pay for to migrants to make him look like he's generous, to make him look like he's philanthropic, to make him look like he cares. And yeah, he may really care. But his ability to think and understand what this is doing to Europe, which hurts the European economy, which hurts the European culture, which brings us closer to outright civil and social conflict. We already have civil and social conflict in Europe, and it's starting to develop and erupt here in the United States. So much so that in the United States of America, we have filmmakers in Hollywood. That's right, Richard Gere's good buddies who won't hire him to make movies anymore because he's a little bit past his prime. But those same people are now making films about elite liberals hunting people who support Trump. The Trump mentality. Right? They are now doing what? Suggesting and supporting through their verbal policy the street policy of being violent towards those who don't support and agree with them politically. Even so much so that congresswomen like Maxine Waters say we can't allow a Trump administration or its supporters to shop, to eat and dine, to go public places, to use public transportation, to use even the streets. You have to harass them and harangue them and chase them. So much so that they're now standing outside the homes of American politicians or bureaucrats, employees. People who support Donald Trump are being outed, doxxed, and harassed. Right? This is exactly what they're doing, and you can see how they're ratcheting it up. They're doing it in Europe, but now politicians who are nationalists, there's nothing wrong with being nationalist as long as you're not, right, racist and murdering people or suggesting people be murdered or eradicated the way socialists in America are suggesting that people be eradicated and thrown into camps and murdered and hunted and harassed. That's right. That's what they do. That's what the left does. So doesn't it make sense now that someone like Salvini stands up and fires back at them? He is, after all, their prime minister, their president, right? Trying to get his country in protected in some way, right? The same way Trump is trying to do things in the United States, and he's being thwarted and opposed at every turn. Meanwhile, the economy comes down. Meanwhile, there's less revenue coming in to pay for all of the benefits and spending programs that Donald Trump and other politicians on the left who want all sorts of entitlement programs, they're not going to have the money to pay for them. So we're going to go deeper in debt. What's that going to do? How are we going to pay for all of this? It's going to bring everything down. And things are coming down. And we've already seen, and as suggested by Argentina's, they're one step closer to re-electing by a wide margin a socialist prime minister or president down there, or presidente, right? And they want to do that here in the United States. So there is a battle between open border progressive socialism and nationalist closed border protectionism. Right? Protect your country. How can you even have trade if you don't even have a country? Right. The globalists want to destroy national boundaries so that they can control everything. We are engaged in a civil war that is quietly being fought with tools like illegal immigration, with tools like socialist leaders and politicians who want to cause more conflict. Right? It both weakens government and increases government's power, all at the same time. And I believe this is all according to a plan. And that plan risks or incorporates shit hitting the fan to some degree. So you must be prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Understand what they're doing. Understand how they are risking your life and your future. Understand that if you think you're going to retire on Social Security with a big fat 401k backing it, understand that's going to come to an end. If you think the streets are going to be safe, that's not the case. These socialists are gaining in power and boldness because of what they're doing using social media and mainstream media and entertainment media. That's the trifecta of propaganda, right? Political, entertainment, and then news. News media really isn't news media, but it is propaganda. The same way politicians are using propaganda to fight this partisan war, which will bring down the nation. So it is almost like a civil war by proxy. And maybe I need to develop that idea with you guys as well. This partisan war is a civil war by proxy for control of the government. Because if the socialists take over, it will be as if a civil war was fought. The civil war was fought and won. And we didn't even know we were engaged in a civil war. That's a hell of a thought. And I'm going to put some more thought to it. I recommend you do as well. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. I'll talk to you soon.